This week on The Travel Show, we're in my hometown of London. I'll be finding out how meat-free's gone mainstream. This is good. A tour bus around London eating food that will help us live forever.
That's well said.
Also coming up on this week's show, we're heading underground to meet a man with a passion for public art in New York. And we eat more than is good for us in Naples as we join the judging panel in search of the world's most perfect pizza.
So on slice number 7, Mario has had over 40 slices.
Let's kick off in London, where we're taking a look at the latest food trend to sweep the UK. Veganism, it's changed. With hundreds of dishes to choose from, people pack in here at vegan nights in fashionable Shoreditch in the east of the city.
I've only been vegan for maybe 6 months, and even compared to where I started, the amount of vegan abundance of food in supermarkets is crazy.
I was eating a lot of like chicken dippers, like chicken Kievs, and I thought, you know what, I don't feel good. And I started eating more fruit and more veg, and I started to feel this energy that I've never really felt before.
Vegan in London in 2018 is really, really easy now. There's so many cool places to eat. You can get junk food, you can get healthy food, you can just eat anywhere. Super easy.
The vegan market is growing so extensively, it's incredible. And it's exciting, it's so exciting what's happening.
According to the Vegan Society, the number of vegans in the UK went up by 350% in 10 years. And that was before the huge trend in the last 2 years kicked in. It's particularly here in London where a lot of the change has been happening, which might make this one of the best places in the world to travel to as a vegan. So I'm going to take a fresh look at London as a tourist for the day, and I'm going to enjoy some of those classic London travel experiences, but with a vegan twist. And it all starts with a bus tour, of course, on one of these. And it's no ordinary bus tour. This is a vegan afternoon tea bus tour, offering a vegan version of the traditional British afternoon tea on an iconic red Routemaster bus. What a way to see those sights. A fellow passenger on board today is Dominica from the Vegan Society. How has veganism managed to attract the next generation? What is it that has changed? Because it's been around for a long time, hasn't it?
Yes, veganism has actually been around for 70 years, which not many people are aware of. But I think we live in the digital age of information where you log into your social media accounts and you're bound to see something about veganism at some point. I think a lot of people sort of start to understand that animals are not here for us, they are here with us on this planet that we share with them. And as you can see, we can have all the things that meat eaters have, which is cake and some sandwiches. You can basically veganize anything that you want.
All I heard there was cake. I heard nothing else. You know, it's cake and that sounds good to me. Vegans do cake. I'm sold. So normally to make a cake, you have milk, eggs. What would you do to replace that for a cake like this in veganism?
So a vegan cake contains all the normal ingredients that you would expect a cake to contain. But for example, instead of dairy milk, you might want to use almond or soy milk. And you'll be surprised to hear that replacing eggs is as simple as mashing up a banana, because eggs are used as a binding product rather than for flavor. So the banana has a similar consistency to eggs.
This is good. This is good. A tour bus around London eating food that will help us live forever.
That's well said.
Okay, maybe not live forever, but a plant-based diet can have some health benefits, which you might not make the most out of if you get involved in the latest vegan trend, fast food veganism. How you doing, mate?
Hello, mate. You all right?
Yep. And what could be more British than a classic fish and chip supper? Danny Sutton's chip shop is about as traditional as a chippy gets. Well, it smells like a classic fish and chip shop. I can smell the vinegar aromas and the chips and the fish. Hello. There you go, you got grilled fish up here, pies, saveloy. Even here, Danny's come up with a vegan answer to the traditional fish and chips using marinated banana blossom. Of all the things that I could think of that could substitute for fish, a banana plant or banana leaf was the last thing that would come to my mind. How did you come up with that?
Well, I was fishing one day in the sea, and in my lunchbox, how did I come up with that? I just did some research, lots of research, and I found that it's the texture more than anything. It had the right texture. So with our own little seasoning thing going on, we could get close to, you know, the flavour and texture of the fish.
So time for a lesson from the master. First, stripping the banana blossom. Is this it? Oh yeah, there's nothing there. One more.
That's it, perfect.
All right.
And now if you start in the centre, point it down and try and slice it straight down the middle.
Yes,
Like
of
that.
course, of course.
Straight down there.
Exactly.
You got it, Addy?
Yeah. I can smell it actually. Yeah, there's a slight banana-y tinge.
You can smell banana. You won't be able to after this. You'll be able to smell the seed.
And the secret is all in the marinade.
We're going to use some samphire grass.
So where's this from then?
This is from Essex, from the estuary. Where the
Seriously?
Sea. Yeah.
Bit of Essex.
That's
green.
it.
Followed by some spices to bring out that sea flavour. This mash boss.
Pour some water over the top if you want to give it a mix. Right. We'll boil it for about 15 minutes. Then it will go into the marinade overnight. Then it will come out and it will go on there to dry, and that's basically it before we batter it. Okay, Addy, what we've all been waiting for?
Look at
Your
that.
vegan fish and chips.
Do you know what? If I'd not gone through all the stuff of making it with you, and you hadn't told me that this is vegan fish and chips, I'd think that's proper fish.
There you go.
Smells like it as well.
We've tricked you with your eyes.
Yes.
See if we can trick you with your tongue.
There we go, get some of this on there.
Imagine you're by the seaside. Imagine you're in Southend.
That is good. I wasn't expecting that, and the texture is definitely there. And you know what? Don't have to worry about any bones.
There's no bone guarantee. Now, I can't give that on the cod or the haddock.
Cheers to that, Dan.
Cheers. Enjoy.
Every year, nearly 20 million people come to London. It's one of the world's most visited cities, and no doubt many come to see the big landmarks. But who knows? If this trend continues, then one of its big draws might just become its vegan offering. Could it be a thing for London, one of its strengths, that we are a vegan sort of central?
I think so, yeah, because I think a lot of people go to London because it's a cool city. There's always something exciting going on, and I think if we're that kind of city that's like veganism is really cool, you can have all the kind of foods that you want. It's super easy, but most of all, it's tasty.
The Travel Show, your essential guide wherever you're headed. Next, we head to New York, and one man's love affair with the underground art most commuters don't even realise is there. Artist and printer Philip Coppola began sketching the intricate mosaics, plaques and artwork on the city's subway system back in 1978. And 40 years and 110 stations later, he's still going strong.
When I began my study, a voice inside my head said, you know, why don't you see how conscious people are of the subway art after all? I'd say, are you aware of the art in the subway? Well, half of them said, what art? Nothing, no idea at all. I got some pens here, red, green, and blue. Here we go. My study of the subway really began years ago when I was 8 years old. My father told me that down in the subway station in New York, there were pictures on the walls. I thought that was very curious. But what got me going deeper, besides the fact that I realized some stations were losing their decor, so they had to be recorded, and realizing this, I got concerned and thought, well, somebody has to preserve a record of what we have now. It became sort of a cause for me to record the embellishments of the stations. So it rather snowballed into a rather long project, which is now 40 years in the making and not done yet. Well, actually, the earliest stations were built 1900, 1904, and at that time was a great movement called the City Beautiful Movement, when the mayor and his council decided that they wanted to establish New York as noble and attractive a city as the old European capitals are, which the Americans and New York had always looked up to. And the mayor decided, well, you know what, we can do that right here in New York also. A good example of the very high design elements in the subway station we found at Borough Hall in Brooklyn, the first subway station and the first subway line into Brooklyn. It's just like one of the dozen designs that Lafarge created just for this station alone. But it's worth it. So what I do when I do my project, I have to do it at night, weekends. Often you'll find me at the library or on the subway drawing pictures of what's on the wall and taking notes on how many mosaics are there, what color are they, the general description of any station. The station is named for John Jacob Astor, his Astor Place. His library is nearby, and he was a very shrewd businessman and made several fortunes in his lifetime. And one of them was with the beavers, because in the early 1800s, the top hat with the beaver fur was the very big top of fashion. I've been self-publishing my work ever since I began. This year, though, a lot has changed. A university has published a book of my drawings. My drawings and my notebooks, the real thing, the originals, have been on display in Grand Central Terminal.
This
what it's for, people
made us stop
Yeah.
and appreciate. Look at 137th Street. Look at that. We don't
That's
do that
terracotta.
anymore.
No, we don't. No.
We don't have time to look at it,
No.
and we don't have the money to produce it.
Since I've started this study, being, I hope, somewhat of a thorough person, I intend to finish it, which means I really have to visit all the stations in the system. I have quite a long road ahead of me. I've done 110 stations so far, and I have many more to go, obviously 360 more or more, God knows. Because I've started, I feel I have to finish it.
Well, to finish, today we're off to Naples in the south of Italy. This historic city claims to be the birthplace of pizza, and for 10 days every year, chefs from all over the world head there to take part in a competition to find the world's best slice. And this year, the travel show's Jo Wally was asked to be one of the judging panel. But has she bitten off more than she can chew?
So I'm about to do a masterclass with some of the best pizza makers in the whole of Naples. A little bit apprehensive.
Davide is a world champion pizza maker.
L'UNESCO ha riconosciuto l'arte del pizzaiolo napoletano perché è l'unica arte nel mondo della pizza che va da padre in figlio, e soprattutto viene fatto tutto in maniera artigianalmente, tutto con le mani, e è una vera arte. E soprattutto perché la pizza del mondo viene vista come un fast food veloce, ma per noi è soprattutto una ragione di vita.
To be a true Neapolitan pizza, the dough needs to be prepared in a special way. And here at the festival, tourists can give it a go.
Palm, yeah. Scoop and press. Scoop and press.
The first step is shaping the dough into balls.
I'm trying really hard.
Cut.
I'm cutting.
Okay.
Yeah, seamless.
The dough is left for at least 6 hours to leaven and is then pressed out by hand. Some pizzaiolo spin the dough in the air to stretch and oxygenate it. And the festival is a chance for these pizza masters to show off their skills.
3, 2, 1,
It's really quite tricky.
There's not much of a spin.
With our pizza bases sorted, we spiral on tomato sauce and add mozzarella and basil. The margherita pizza is the symbol of Naples, invented in 1889 in honour of Queen Margherita. The colours represent the Italian flag.
Yes! Now we're making pizza.
Yeah, you are pizza woman.
Finally, we bake it.
It's beautiful. That is a good-looking pizza. That is so good. It was worth me taking about 3 hours to make it.
Now that I fully appreciate exactly what it takes to make a proper Neapolitan margherita, I'm told that tomorrow I can join the judging panel of the Caputo Cup, the Pizza World Championships. Pizza chefs from all over the world have travelled here and are nervously waiting to cook for the judges.
This is the big competition, who has the best margherita pizza. I've got my secret voting sheet here. It's all being taken very seriously. This is my voting form. Got the name of the chef, my name, and the different categories of marks that I can give each pizza. 500 is the best and 10 is the worst.
My fellow judge Mario shows me how to inspect all aspects of the slice to check the crust is bouncy and that I can taste all the distinct ingredients. There are 9 categories of pizza to judge, and it's a grueling pace.
Okay, quickly.
Right.
Oh gosh. Having to speed eat because I'm being too slow with my marking.
Some of the judges have been here tasting for hours. They're only swapped out when they're too full to continue.
So on slice number 7, Mario has had over 40 slices. here for just over 3 hours, and there are so many people queued up outside waiting to cook for us. When will it end? So I've had 38 slices of pizza, and I've just seen that they've started to clear up the tables. So I think the end might actually be in sight.
Then we get word that the final pizza is being sliced.
Number 52, the last one. It's a really unusual flavour, sort of mustardy. I quite like it though. Go out with a bang.
While the votes are being counted, the award for pizza acrobatics is judged. It's seriously skillful. The award ceremony goes on into the night, and there are winners from across the globe. The organisers here hope to take the Napoli Pizza Village Festival to cities like London and New York and spread the message around the world that Neapolitan pizza isn't just food, it's a way of life.
Jo reporting there from Naples, and something tells me she won't be ordering takeaway anytime soon. Well, that's your lot for this week. Coming up next week, Krista heads to Amsterdam to find out how boats once crammed with migrants making death-defying voyages across the Mediterranean are now being used to show tourists the city's world-famous canals.
It's written that there was more than a 76 person on the last trip of this boat.
Make sure you join us for that if you can, and don't forget you can follow us on social media. All the details are on the screens, but for now, from all of us here in Trafalgar Square, it's goodbye.